Welcome to Bassmaster Radio, presented by Phoenix Boats, the show for fishermen by fishermen. Today's show is brought to you by Enigma Fishing. Cast, catch, repeat. Visit Anderson, South Carolina, home of beautiful Lake Hartwell. Phoenix Boats, experience the difference. And by the Bass Anglers Sportsman Society. Now, here's lifetime BASS member Thom Abraham.
And welcome back, Phoenix Boats Bassmaster Radio. Time now for the Rapala Winners Circle. And let me tell you something right now. There isn't anybody on the planet that's any hotter than Lee Livesay. I mean, this dude here in the last 7 elite tournaments has had 4 top 10s. He's got 2 wins. And here's the deal. He's not fishing the Classic at Ray Roberts, right there in his home state of Texas. And, he's certainly on his way to qualifying for the next Classic, the 2022 Classic. But I'll tell you what, everybody who is fishing the Classic is pretty happy that Lee Livesay won't be there. But what a day and what a tournament that Lee Livesay had to get the win at Lake Fork. And he joins us now. Lee, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm good, guys. How are y'all?
Well, I'm not as good as you. I mean, I would suspect that you would be pretty good now. But, man, your confidence has got to be sky high right now. I mean, you did it one way, topwater. I guess it wasn't necessarily a different way at Chick last year in the fall. You've been solid, though. You were solid at Orange, at the Sabine River. And then you go to your home lake with all the pressure, the flotilla of boats, and you're able to bag, this huge, huge limit to get the win here at Lake Fork.
Yeah, man, it was just like you said, the confidence is on high. That's key right now with me. But man, it was just a surreal week, and coming off a top 10 at the Sabine the week before helped a lot. And just being confident and being comfortable with both bodies of water too helped me a lot. I know the Sabine pretty good. I know Fork pretty good, and felt like I had a chance to win both of them, and got lucky and had one of those magical days, the final day on Fork, and got me another win and another win on topwater. 2 for 2 on top. So yeah. I can't be more excited about it, and ready to get the rest of the season rolling.
It was something to see, and we got to pull the curtain back here a little bit, because you and I bumped into each other at Gunnersville at a charity tournament just a week ago. I mean, literally bumped into each other. We were waiting for the takeoff, and our boats were side by each, and you were giving me a hard time about not getting enough time on the show, and I'm a big fan of yours and your sponsors and so on. And I said, look, just go out and win a tournament. I mean, you're going to your place, and you'll have to come out in the winner's circle. And you were kind of poor-mouthing a little bit. You were like talking about all the different guides out there and all the pressure on Lake Fork. I don't know. Did you feel real good going in? Were you just kind of playing possum with me, or did you were you really concerned?
We're hooked up on a fish right now.
By the way, Lee is on Lake Fork as
from NetBait and American Bait Works out here on Fork right now, and he's got a big one on top water right now.
Wow.
It was, I'm always going to downplay everything. That's just human nature with me. And that is a good one. I'm one of those guys. This is awesome. I'm watching them get dominated.
Do you have to land it for him? You're not netting it. You don't have a net in the boat.
I'm not landing anything today. I'm watching. He's good. He knows how to fish. This is
so you gonna boat?
I'm on a guide trip, actually.
Yeah,
oh, my gosh, you're blowing up over there, too.
He's going to boat flip a 6-pounder now?
That's about what it is. Big old chunk. And, I just – it's that time of year where I don't have a lot of an advantage because there's so many fish on the bank. So I didn't know exactly what was going to play, if I could catch them on a big bait, if, the shad were going to be spawning, or if I was going to have to bed fish, or if I could find a group offshore. These guys are good. They all find everything, like everything, I mean, oh, he got another one. Yeah, it's going down right there. And it's just one of those deals that, my practice really wasn't that good. Kind of like I told you the day I saw you at Gunnersville. I just kind of didn't have a lot of great stuff going, but it just kind of ended up just working out.
Yeah, I would say.
Even where y'all saw me fish the final 2 days of the tournament, I never fished there in practice. I didn't fish there in the tournament until the late in the third day. And it kind of developed as the week went on with that full moon. A lot of pre-spawners started pulling up on those bars, and the big thread fins started spawning. And I just, I got lucky and got in a good rotation and caught some big ones.
Yeah, I would think that you did catch some big ones. 42 pounds, 3 ounces, the third largest single-day weight in the history of Bassmaster. And you may have that today, who knows, out there on your guide trip. Now, you got your net baits guy out there, and one of the baits that worked for you was the little spanky swim bait from Net Baits. And I had not seen that swim bait. Describe that thing a little bit and just talk about how you did that. We know you did a lot of damage on top, but also, some on that swim bait as well.
He got hooked up again.
We're going to set a record for the biggest bag caught during an interview.
What's the biggest bag ever caught on Bassmaster Radio at one time?
There you go.
The little spanky is just a small swim bait, and it wasn't a huge player. I caught one of my keepers the first day on it. Just being honest. I was throwing it on a Carolina rig on a shad spawn, actually on the spots that we're really close to right here. And I caught a bunch on a jerk bait and a top water and a square bill, and they got really smart, and I picked up a Carolina rig and put a little spanky on it, and just drug it through there real slow on the bottom, and I ended up catching, a really good one on it that helped me and got my bag up to, whatever I had that first day, 26, 25 pounds, and that's the only damage I did with that. But it was one of those deals that every spot that I couldn't get them to bite, I'd pull out that Carolina rig with that little spanky and throw it back in there, and I'd always get 2 or 3 more bites, whether they were 1-pounders or 4-pounders. They helped my confidence, not only to get a limit early, but to, see if I could catch a fish after they went down.
Yeah, and it was kind of interesting to watch you on Saturday because it seemed like even though you were catching a good bag, you watched 40 pounds blow up. It seemed like, well, I'm catching the 5s and the 6s, but I'm seeing 7, 8s, and 9s blow up. So you kind of had an indication that they were there in that spot.
Yeah, I saw some giants. I guess that'd be the third day. Oh, got another one hooked up.
You're going to have a 20-pound bag during the show. During a 10-minute interview, you're going to have a 20-pound bag.
Oh, my gosh, they're schooling everywhere. Oh, yeah, we're close to that already.
Yeah.
I saw some big ones, and it was almost impossible to not catch. I didn't catch a fish over, I think a 6-7 was my biggest one the first 2 days. Or, heck, the first 3 days.
Mm.
And, I was just getting by. I was catching good fish, don't get me wrong. And, I'd had some opportunities, missing I had two the second or third day, missed the big bait that were giants, and a couple on top water that were giants. Just missed it. Didn't lose any of them. Just missed it. I lost 1 4-pounder on a glide one day, and it was just, obviously I know what lives where here for the most part on these bars. And, once I got comfortable and got in that cut, I spent all my time, the rest of the time, throwing big baits and being on spots where it's just big fish and big shad was the key for me. I was around those giant gizzards where they spawn and on spots that I know you catch 7 to 10 pounders, and hooked up again. Oh, missed it.
I'll tell you, Lee Livesay joining us from Lake Fork, where he's out on a guide trip with one of his sponsor reps, which is always a really cool thing to do. For you, like I said, 2 wins in the last 7 tournaments, and now you're looking forward to the Alabama swing where you'll go and fish Neely Henry and then back to Gunnersville. We talked about the confidence part of it. You are, I think, 4th or 5th in the points right now. Where does the focus go? Do you just continue to focus on strictly, one tournament at a time, or are you going to start thinking a little bit about points here? Not to have one that could kind of not derail your shot at possibly even winning the AOI.
No, obviously AOY is in my head. Anybody that says it's not when they're in the top 4 this far into the season is lying to you. But it's one tournament at a time, 100%. Obviously, I've got, had great success on Gunnersville. Looking forward to that one. I've been to Neely Henry once last year for Open. I did decent. And both tournaments in New York I've been to. I've only been to Champlain once and the river a couple of times. But I stayed up there for an extra month last year and fished every day by myself. So I'm, my confidence on the stuff up north is just, super high right now. I really like fishing up there. So, for me, it's just getting a Neely Henry and figuring out if I need to 50 them to death, or if I have a shot to win at the end of the day, or, at the end of day 3, if I make it, and going from there. It's just, one tournament at a time and one day at a time, man. You can't stumble with these guys. You screw up one day, it's over. You saw that last year with me, having an amazing year, best year of my career last year, and not making the classic, having a couple, mechanical failures and just sucking in the state of Florida, almost getting dead last, and it cost you a bid. So just you got to catch them every single day.
You had Patrick Walters. We just had Patrick on. You had Patrick in there in Little Caney as well. He wasn't too far from you. He commented on the fact that he could hear your crowd, your flotilla, cheering, on every catch, and he wanted to start cheering for you as well. But he didn't suck himself. I mean, he had 31 pounds. But we talked about day 2. He had 15.7. You had 17.14. Did you feel like it was slipping away after 25.6 on day 1? Did you feel like, oh, this is gonna bury me, or did you know that everybody was pretty much struggling except for Taco Ito, who had 33 pounds?
And it was just, I did the same thing in 2019. Even remember in 2019, Brandon Cobb won. Right. He only had 14 pounds the second day. And, I was in the top 10 in 2019 the first day and didn't even catch a limit the second day. It was just almost like mirror images. And I don't even know what happened, to be honest. It was just, I wasn't worried about anybody else. I was worried about me getting in that 50 cut where I could take a swing the next day. And I kind of fished that way. Honestly, not saying I fished scared, but I fished where, like I said, I'd pull out that little spank on the Carolina rig where I know I'd catch a couple fish and just make sure I got that 10 grand and made that cut. And I just, didn't run around a lot. I fished some spots I knew I'd get bit. I caught that 18, 17, 14, whatever it was, a decent little bag, but I was confident that I could go the next day and who knows what could happen. And that's how it ended up happening,
Have you ever had 42.3 for your best 5 at Fork before? I mean, was that your best day ever on the lake, or have you had those kind of days, in these guide trips?
Oh, no, I've probably had 100 days over 40. On guide trips.
You got to be kidding me.
When the lake. Yeah. No, this is Lake Fork. That's
Wow.
That's nothing out here. When the lake was low from 2012 to 2014, the place was just amazing. Before everybody was throwing big baits, before big baits were cool, man, it was just insane. But the same thing. You can blast them in June and July, August when they're out deep. You blast them in the pre-spawn. I'm not saying all the time, but when it's going down, you're going to have 2 or 3 days, in that 40 to 43 range. It's really hard to get over 43.
I would think.
This time of year
I would think it would be hard to have a 9-pound average. I would think a 9-pound average would be a little hard.
Yeah, this time of year with top water, it's hard to catch 42. I thought I might be able to catch 35 if I got lucky, but it one of those days that never happens.
So if I come out for the Classic a couple of days early, I'm going to find you and drag you out there on that lake then. You're going to take me out of Fork. That's what I think will end up happening, because it's not like you're going to, it's unfortunate for you, and it's fortunate for the rest of the field that you're not going to be at Ray Roberts, but I may have to grab you and go out on Fork for a minute. Just saying.
Come on.
All right, brother.
That's a good time.
Did Michelob Ultra, one of your great sponsors, do they send you a case or anything when you win like that for them?
Man, they fed the whole Minnebucket Marina, man. There's a couple,
the Minnebucket
probably 100 of my buddies out there, and they just sent a whole truck out there from Anheuser-Busch with all kinds of stuff. I'm sure Corey Johnson, Caleb Summerall still might be asleep over there.
That's tremendous. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you. Congrats on the win. I will see you when you get to Alabama, and just keep this roll going, man.
All right, man. I appreciate y'all having me on.
All right, thank you. Lee Livesay. What a great guy, man. What a great win. All right, we'll come back and wrap it up next. This is Phoenix Boats Bassmaster Radio on the Bassmaster Radio Network.